Hoi hoi folks, good morning, good afternoon and good evening wherever you are in the world. My name's Sean, aka Uncle Frogface, and welcome to today's video. If you're new here, then welcome. If you're not new, then welcome back. So I've been planning this video for quite a while. As some of you know, I like to trawl around Hobbycraft and pick up really bad craft kits, but occasionally they have things on offer and I'm like, I wonder if I can make something from that. So about 9 months ago, probably more than that, I found these are like acrylic table signs, and they had loads of different shapes of them, and they were selling them really cheap. I think it was 5 of them for £3 or something like that. They were really exceedingly cheap. So I picked up 5 of them. So I've got them, I've got them here, and I immediately came up with an idea. But whilst the concept was there, the kind of execution wasn't. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with it, but it's been milling around in the back of my brain for a while, and I think I finally know what I'm going to do. In fact, very unlike me, I've already gone ahead and done a little mock-up on my iPad, so I kind of really know what I'm doing. We're also going to have a little bit of a dive into my acrylic marker collection, because we're going to be using acrylic markers today, and this is my tub of markers. So yeah, probably going to have to go through those and decide what colours we want for it, and have a little discussion about markers whilst we're doing it. But that's enough teasing. Let me turn the camera around and we'll have a little look at these properly, and then get cracking on this little mini project. Welcome to my very cluttered desk. So I said I had a few of these. They're actually quite dusty because yeah, they've just been laying around in the office whilst I've been thinking about it. They've all got their Hobbycraft labels on the bottom as well, so I'm going to have to peel all of those off. But essentially what I want to do today is to create a layered piece of artwork. So just like we create layers in digital art and even traditional art, I want to stack these like this on top of each other and have some art on each one, so we get kind of a depth to the piece. You can see all the lights reflect off it. It's going to be interesting to film this one. You see my lights over here as well. But yeah, essentially that's the idea. And actually for this project I only need 3 of these, so I can put 2 of these aside. Oh, there we go. So we're just going to use these 3. So I will give these a clean before we start using them. But this is actually going to be a 6-layer picture, but with 3 pieces of perspex, because I'm going to be painting on the front and the back of each of these, which is going to be interesting. But the idea I think is sound. I think it will work. This is very much a trial and error for this one. But in order to create this, I need to use paint markers. I could use just straight acrylic paint, but paint markers very good for use on lots of different materials, including, of course, plastic, which is what we're using here. So I got a lot of paint markers. I have these ones, which this is a selection of Stabilo acrylic markers. So these were sent out to me as part of an influencer pack. There are 4 1 to 2 millimeters, 5 to 3 millimeters, and 4 10mm markers, which are very chunky boys. And I think for this, I'm definitely going to need a blue. So I'm gonna take out all of my blues, but I've got in here, of course I've got Poscas. I've got lots of Poscas in different sizes. I've got Taylor Rowney, Marabou, Pilot. It's just a whole selection of different markers in here, which this is good. So I can already see there's different blues in here. So I think what I might do is go through with all of the different blues that I have and just swatch them out so that I can see exactly what the colours look like, so that I know how I'm going to be layering stuff together. That's a nice blue green. So yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of swatching, and I'll be back to you when I've got my kind of colour palette all ready and we're ready to start moving on. Okay, so that was just a second. You can see I've swatched out all of my different blues here, and it's actually quite interesting, the variation just between pens of a similar colour, but also the quality of the paint as it goes down as well. So I've left you in suspense long enough. I've got other colours up here, I've got some colours over here as well. So my concept for this is to create basically a scene looking at the ocean from above. So in the back we're going to have very deep ocean, then some not deep ocean, and then the surface of the ocean. And then the back of each panel will be kind of the layer of that part of the ocean, and then on top there'll be some detail, so some fish and other stuff. That's the idea. Anyway, I've got a very rough sketch already laid out. But first I need to think about my background. So I think I'm going to use this darkest blue Posca for the whole main background, and then this one, the Stabilo dark blue, is actually a darker shade and it's going to be laid on top as well. So it should give the effect that I'm looking for the very back layer, which is going to have the least detail anyway, but it's the basis of what we're going to be building up. So I'm just going to move these over to the side, and I suppose I should start cleaning these ready to be painted. That actually wasn't too bad to clean at all. Let's just take that sticker off there. So this is going to be our very back panel, and I want the entire back of this to be painted in dark blue. So I'm literally just going to fill this all in with this Posca. Might take a while, I'm not sure how many coats it's going to take, but it seems like it's going down all right. If we have a look from the other side, yeah, okay, might need a couple of layers, but it's I think this will work. I'll come back to you when I've got this completely blocked in. Okay, so just a quick update. This is one pass on the back of this. You can see that, there we go, it's still very shiny. That's the sky outside. But with just one pass, you can see if the light comes through the back, it's still quite streaky. So this is going to need another coat, but it very much needs to dry. You can see it's still very wet at the moment. So whilst I'm waiting for that to dry, I think actually I'm going to do the next layer on top, because the back of the next layer on top is similar to this, just in a lighter blue and not as full coverage. Maybe with a bit of blending as well. But I'm going to put this aside to dry, and then I'm going to clean this one and get my next back layer sorted, and then let all of that dry before we start adding proper details into the mix. So I'll be back with you in just a moment, hopefully with two completed panels. I can start to show you what it looks like when it's all going to be layered together. So this is your friendly reminder that not all paint pens are made the same. So this is the coverage of the Posca. Lovely, very nice, although we will need a second coat, but it's also drying fairly quickly. You can see it's drying back there. This is a, what's this? Molotow all-in-one acrylic twin pen, and the coverage is not great. This is definitely going to need at least 3 coats, I think, to get this where I want it, but it does give me the opportunity to show you what this is like when you start to stack it together. Can you see what is happening there? Yes, lovely. Now this is not going to have the harsh line on the edge here. I'm actually going to, with some wet paint, just tap on the edges to blend it a little bit, but I want to make sure that these both are looking their best before we move on. So this is drying pretty quickly, so it won't take too long to do the coats. But give me, yeah, some time and I will double coat these. I'll get them all sorted, and I'll be back when we're ready to move on to the next part, which is adding a little bit more detail. The eagle-eyed among you might notice a little something here and a little something here. So I realised I've disengaged idiot mode from my brain and I've engaged clever girl mode. So the issue I was having was the light passing through, and you can see that is no longer an issue because I've just painted the backs in black acrylic, just so that no light can pass through, and then we get a nice flat paint colour. Unfortunately, I did lift up a little bit of the Posca there in my haste to get this done. But that's fine because there's going to be details painted on this side, so I can just cover that. And I've done the same on this one as well. And you see I've feathered that edge. So now those two stacked together look like this. And you can see it's starting to come together. It feels like there's some depth in it now when you move it around. So my next job is to start painting some details on the fronts of both of these. So this one's going to be nice and easy. I'm literally just doing some silhouettes with this slightly darker blue, which will also be matte on the front of the acrylic. And then this one, we're going to be painting some fish, which will mainly be done in a grey, potentially, and then some colours added over the top of them. But yeah, that is my next job. So I'm going to just paint a few silhouettes on here, and I'll come back to you. Well, I'll do it with this. It's a nice fine one. It's a darker blue, and I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, so progress is being made, and I'm kind of reluctant to lay these on top of each other too soon and show you the end result, but I assure you it is coming together very nicely, and you can see, there we go, so we've got a manta ray, a shark, and a few small fish swimming through. It already stands out from the back because of the difference in hue, but there's also that contrast of the matte and the sheer as well. So now I'm going to do pretty much the same but on here and using some different colours. So I've got some orange, red and yellow in here, and essentially I want like a school of fish coming down here in more of a kind of a tropical vibe, get some of that colour in, and this will be the next layer to lay on top, and then we can get to the final bit, which I'm very excited about. So I think I'm gonna go mostly, you know what, I'm gonna do a good mix. I'll do a mix of the red, the yellow and the orange. I actually haven't tested these on the plastic to see what they're going to be like, but because they're brush tips, I think these will work well for fish shapes. So let's get to painting some slightly detailed little fish. It's that time of the video where I say thank you to my Patreon supporters. If you'd like to join Patreon and all the exclusive benefits that a Patreon member gets, then there is a link down below. If, however, you'd like to just support the channel without financial incentive, then just click like and subscribe. Let YouTube know that you're enjoying the video, and it will push the video out to other people so they can also enjoy it. That actually was incredibly quick. I barely had to speed that up at all. So yeah, using a brush tip to create fish turns out very easy indeed. You literally almost stamp down and then just adding some tails and fins. Right, so that's the back and the middle section complete. These are now done. I can move these aside and begin working on the final section. So this is the front piece. So we're going to start off this with, well, I think the shell is probably the easiest place to start. So think about where I want this, because I'm doing this backwards. So I think about here, yeah, and this might take a couple of coats. I don't really mind if this is terribly textured, because it's a turtle shell. It's absolutely fine. In fact, we might be able to get some good kind of preliminary details in if I see what that looks like on the other side. Actually, not terribly bad. That's not bad at all. Might let it dry a little bit and paint in just a few small details. I don't want this to be terribly detailed, actually. Okay, I think that probably just about works. I'm going to let that dry a little bit before I move into my darkest green, which is the Posca, and start laying in the base for the head and the flippers and the little tiny tail as well. So I'll be back in just a second. Okay, so this is now dry, which means I can start working on the final layer. And I know you're probably thinking, what on earth are you doing? What is this? You just blobbed a turtle onto the back of a piece of perspex. Right, so the idea is I want this turtle to almost be breaking through the surface of the water, and the bits that are breaking through, I want those to be detailed, whereas everything under the water to look less detailed, just to give a little bit of a kind of depth illusion. So I've got a white Posca here, and what I need to do is pick out the areas that are going to be kind of breaking the water. So I definitely want around the head, like this. I think I want most of this flipper, like this, just a little bit of this flipper. And then the same, I think I want most of this foot and a little bit of this foot. And then honestly, it's going to be most of the shell breaking through. And I know you're probably still wondering what I'm doing. Well, now I'm going to connect all of these up with some curved lines and kind of create like a wake, like a broken wake. So I'm going to do that all over, and then I'm going to do the details of the turtle, and then I'm going to detail the wake a little bit more. But this is a really fun, get some more paint on there. It's a really fun way to draw the surface of water like this. You just do these lovely curved lines and intersect at different points like this. And then as you get further away from the thing that's creating the kind of ripples and the foam in the water, they become much bigger loops. You can almost start down here. It's okay to go off. I'm going to join that up there. I'm going to carry this on all the way through. So I'll be back in just a second once I've got all of that done. Okay, that was very quick to do, and actually we're going to be coming back and add some more detail to that first. But before we do that, I want to make sure I'm picking out the details on the turtle so that I don't forget to do that. So I've got a lighter green pen here, and I'm going to go in and start adding kind of the scales on the turtle's head, and the same on the flippers. And then I want to add some detail on the shell as well. So I'm thinking what I might do is kind of a fan design. Then that's not looking too bad at all. Might come in with a little bit of yellow just on the tops of these. Like that, and I think I'm actually going to use the brown that we had before and try and draw out some of these shell shapes, break it up a little bit, something a little bit like that. In fact, that I might bring the yellow into the orange. There we go. Mix it a little bit. Maybe just for a couple of highlights, I've got this this neon green as well, so I might just go in and add a couple of just like that, just to make it punch a little bit. maybe not so dotty. There we go. So we've got the bits of the turtle where it's breaking through the water now are more detailed. So I'm going to wait for that to dry fully, and then I'll come in and show you how we detail the rest of the water. Okay, I have zoomed right into this section because we're going to be doing a little bit of detail work. So we've got these sections where the turtle is breaking through. Essentially what we're doing is we're going to create like foam, and this is the top of the ocean around. So some of these lines I'm going to double up, particularly around the turtle itself, just to add a little bit extra. Okay, so we're starting to add a little bit of detail, and in all of the corners. So let me demonstrate over here. You see where we've got these two lines that intersect? I'm actually going to smooth that out and colour this section in like that. And in some of these you can even add a little dot, so you've got a little gap within that as well as you're smoothing it out. I'm creating these kind of foam bits in the middle, and I'm just going to create that all the way around. I'm going to have much more foam around the turtle itself, so in all of these corners down here, smoothing all of this out. There we go, and it will give the illusion of it breaking through the water. So I might do a little time lapse whilst I do this section, and then we'll basically be finished to start apart from final assembly. Okay, I now have all three sections of this piece and a lot of mess. So I'm going to clean up, I'm going to put all of my pens away. I'm going to get out my my new Sticky Pal glue pen from Acrylic, because it only takes 30 seconds to heat up. And I am going to glue this all together and then do a final reveal and final thoughts. So bear with me just a moment. For you, it'll be just a second. For me, it'll be a few minutes. But I'll be right back. Okay, you're getting a little bit of a teaser here, but I'm so happy with this. It turned out much better than I thought it was going to. I'm a very, very happy boy, let's just say that. But without further ado, should I show you? Should I? No, let's just end the video there. No, I'm joking. Let's have a look. So here we are, all the layers glued together, and this is what we have. And some unexpected things have happened. So as the light shines through, you actually get the reflection of the kind of crest of the waves on top all the way through, and it just adds shadow and depth to the picture. As it just moves around, it just looks so lovely. I'm really pleased with this. This is going to go up on the shelf behind me in the office, so you can see it whenever you like. I really like the play of the matte against the glossy as well. Listen, I really want to know what you guys think, because this for me is a proof of concept for a potentially much larger project in a month or so. So leave your comments down below, tell me what you think, and if it's received well, if it gets lots of thumbs ups, And if I get lots of new subscribers, then yeah, I will take on that larger challenge, because yeah, I'm very, very pleased. As always, I really hope you've enjoyed today's video, and until next time, goodbye.